Hello Year 7 and welcome to the summer term lessons. I'm Miss Stuteley. I've taught some of you and some of you may know me. We're going to go through this new topic today. You'll be learning about life processes, which is everything alive in the human body, plants and the world around us. We'll be learning about animals and cells. For today's lesson, we are going to learn the 7 life processes and how we determine if something is alive. What I'd like for you to do, for the Do It Now, is to look at those images there, a rock, the rock Johnson, and an under the water scene, and determine whether any of those things are living things. Try and answer with a sentence. So you'd write a bullet point, the rock there on the left, and then explain whether you think it is a living thing and justify your answer. Or it might be that you look at Dwayne in the middle there and say he is a living thing because he can move, he can talk, something like that. You justify your answer and write 3 sentences. Pause this video just now. Once you've done that, you can move on with me. Right, so after your pause, you should have 3 sentences, and most likely saying that you think the rock on the left is not a living organism and that it's not alive. You might be using words like respiration. You might be using words like excretion, so it's doesn't have any bodily functions, excreting its waste. And then the other 2, Dwayne the Rock Johnson and the under the water scene, so some of those plants and fish you would have determined are alive. In today's lesson, we're going to learn the 7 life processes. It's really important that we understand how we categorize something as being alive. And then there's a number of activities that you can do on the pen and paper in front of you just to check yourself. We will end with an exit ticket, and I've written a 6-mark question for you that I will put up on Shobi so I can mark them for you. Right, here are little pictures to prompt you of the 7 things that we need to do to stay alive. Okay, so pause the video, think if you can think amongst yourself, writing a list of what you think each picture represents. So the top left man, what do you think that picture represents? You might think of the word exercise, and these are all things that we do to stay alive. So write down, you can't be wrong at this stage, bounce some ideas about, pause the video and write down a word for each picture. So off you go. Okay. The words that you should have come up with, or your words should be similar to this, are movement. So we all need to move, and the top left man is moving. The little picture, cartoon people there, you might have written down something like love, but the word is reproduction. So in order for our species to survive, we need to reproduce. Okay. The next word is the food just there is nutrition. Okay, so we need nutrition to stay alive. And the next word, the little baby there with the cartoon, in order for us to stay alive, we need to rid our body of waste, and the word is excretion. Okay, I'll put these all up on the screen for you. But if you want to draw your little cartoons and your little memory prompts, the word is excretion, okay, with the nappy. The next word, I'm sure lots of you will have got, with the tulips on the bottom left just there, is growth, okay? And in order for a living organism, including plants and amoebas and cells, including for them to survive, they need growth, okay? So just like that little tulip there is growing. The bottom picture is something that we use every day. We've got 5 of them, okay, including smell, sight. We need sensitivity, okay? So ourselves and humans and plants are sensitive and react to the world around us. Could be heat if we are very hot. Our body tells us to drink water or to cool down through sweating. Plants respond to stimulus such as light and heat by turning to face the light, the sun, okay? So sensitivity, and we all need that. And another word that we all need, pictured by the respiratory system there, is we need respiration, okay? So we need to turn oxygen and glucose into energy for us to survive. And through that is how we get rid of the waste, which is carbon dioxide and water, okay? So we need to respire, so we need to use energy. We do this through breathing, but respiration goes on in every single cell of the body. So in order to help us remember these things, we've got a little acronym. Mrs. Gren, some people like to write Mrs. Nerg. If it's easier for you to remember, you can do it that way. And here are the words. Every single person should copy these down. Whether you want to write them down like this or write them down with a little cartoon picture like we had above, that is entirely up to you. But these will be your memory prompts to help you to remember them. And this will come up, these 7 processes will come up right into your GCSE year. So if you learn them now, you're going to be in a really good position to explain the science as you go forward through the years. Pause the video and write them down. If not, I will move on. Here is the video that I'm going to show you. If the link doesn't work when I share it, then you can copy this down. Here's the video, Year 7. So hello year 7, after watching that video you will have gone over what I've said with you. So Mrs. Gren, you will have gone over what the keywords mean, those you wrote down earlier, and you should be able to complete that table that I've put at the top of the screen there. Okay, so along the left hand side you're going to have the letters, then you're going to have the keyword, and then a description of what it is. So movements, you could say how a living organism moves, movement, and they gave the example of the cheetah, and also plants, which I said to you do move very slowly. Okay, you've got the other words to fill out there, remembering things like nutrition, and where they went ahead and described excretion. So be careful. In the very simplistic video image I gave you, yes, there was a nappy, but excretion isn't just egestion. They told you exactly what the definition for excretion was. Then you can fill out the blanks that are underneath just there. So pause this video, try this task. If you're finding it hard and can't do all the fill in the blanks, don't worry, we will move on. But make sure you've got these key terms down and this work, at least the first table completed. Pause the video, and when you're done, move on with us. In order to check what you've just done, you should have had them in this order. Okay, so down the left-hand side, the letters MRS, and then the words movement, respiration, check your spelling, sensitivity, growth, reproduction, excretion, and nutrition. Okay, nutrition, start on the end word. Nutrition is how the body gets nutrients or food. Excretion, you should have the definition of ridding the body of waste products or getting rid of waste products from the body. That's fine. As I said, that can include carbon dioxide, water from your respiration. It can include getting rid of some excess food, some water, and through your feces. Reproduction, so that's how a plant, a cell, or a human reproduce. Okay, so you could say the process of making a baby, or making a new plant, or asexual reproduction like amoebas do, where they just duplicate their cells. Growth, you would put increasing in size, and they gave you the example of the fungus, or it could be just be a small rabbit that starts small and grows up into adult form. Sensitivity is responding to the environment around you, so sight, smell, touch. Respiration is turning glucose and oxygen into energy, okay? And movement is moving, so it gives animals the opportunity to get away from predators and move. The next task I want you to do is these true false. Don't worry too much about the gold, silver, bronze. I want you to do these true false. It's only 1 to 5. So pause the answer just here, and pause the video and go through number 1, is it true or false, all the way. Once you're done, mark them with me. Here are the answers just here. Doesn't stand for nutrients, it's nutrition. Excretion is the process of turning food into energy. That is false. Turning food into energy is respiration. Excretion, we know what that is. Temperature is one thing organisms can be sensitive to. That is true. Humans make their own food from sunlight. That is false. You probably know what do that. And the M in Mrs. Gren is for movement. That one is true. If you got them all right, I would like you to attempt all of the pictures on the next task. If you got only 1 or 2 right, I want you to attempt 2 or 3 of the pictures on the next task. And if you were in the middle with silver, you can attempt some of them. The next task. Here are some pictures of a number of things. So you've got an amoeba, car, robot, spider, fire, a shellfish, and some grass. So you would write each of those. If you're doing silver, you'd write 4 things and write down what you thought, what you think they do. So whether there's any life processes they'll do. Here's an example for you. You write down fire. Fire does move, it does grow, and it does require nutrition in the form of oxygen or wood or coal, so it's fuel. However, it doesn't do those other life processes there. So you would write down the little subheading fire and write down the things it does do and the things it doesn't do. The spider, you would probably be able to guess which 7 it would do. Maybe the shellfish underneath the shell, you might be able to guess which ones those do. Quite a lot of you might be interested to try out the car. So do that for each of these and write them down. I will move on, but pause the video and make sure you've done at least 4 of these, okay? Dependent on how you did bronze, silver, gold. This is the question that I will put up on Shobi for you. I'd like you to use full sentences so that this can be marked by the teachers and we can give you some feedback. I want you to use all of the keywords, Mrs. Gren, okay, and write a response to this question. If you want to do this now and draft it on your paper, that's fine, but I would encourage you to type it up so we can give you some feedback. Finally, last but not least, here are the exit ticket questions. So please answer these in full sentences, pause the video, give yourself time to do them and really check your work, and we will mark them all together just now. How many life processes are there? There are 7 life processes. You would have written a sentence to that effect. Which life processes means getting larger, increasing the number of cells? You would say growth means getting larger or increasing the number of cells. Which life process can you link to the digestive system? So you would say nutrition. Some of you may have put an excretion, but just be careful that excretion is also ridding the body of waste products such as gases and waters. So the digestive system, especially after the stomach, the intestines, is where your body absorbs all of the nutrients. Which life process produces offspring? It's reproduction. So if you imagine 2 rabbits, very quickly they end up with lots and lots of offspring, lots more rabbits. And question 5, excretion is the process which gets rid of waste products from the body. So you should have written out a full sentence. Well done, Year 7. What I'll do is I will be involved with marking your 6-mark question. If you've got any questions, please ask.